We all know how large the gaming market is in China. China has over 700 million gamers, and a lot of Western companies see this region as an untapped market that has a lot of potential. And due to this, the international version of Steam is one of the largest platforms there. Due to a gray area in Chinese law, it has been allowed to exist, but Valve's fear is that this could come to an end. In hopes of avoiding this and securing their place in the Chinese market, they have decided to open an actual Steam Chinese client. Of course, to do this, we all know what the requirements are for a foreign company to officially launch a platform like this in China, and that is that they must partner with a Chinese company, and in this case, it is going to be Perfect World. Valve is claiming with bringing this client to the Chinese, taking Steam out of the gray area, they will not have to worry about it being shut down. They can provide things like faster download speeds and all sorts of different features that will make the quality of life better for gamers. They have said that the servers already exist there, so it is simply just a case of implementing changes on the existing system. Unfortunately for Chinese gamers, the new client, which is localized to China of course, will have to comply with all of the Chinese censorship laws, something the international version, which had existed, did not suffer from. Valve has said that yes, there are policies and laws in place that they are going to have to follow and adhere to. They just have no choice, which is what DJ Powers said in an interview with Eurogamer, which of course will be linked in the description. And of course, gamers are not happy about this change. This is one of the only ways they had to enjoy their favorite hobby without having to deal with tightly mandated regulations. They suffer from not being able to enjoy the same things other regions in the world are able to. With the launch of the Chinese Steam client, it will initially have around 40 titles. These versions of games will be completely localized in Mandarin Chinese as opposed to the international version where the games were in English, and of course these titles will comply with local laws and restrictions. The version of Steam is going to be heavily curated. Anything that makes its way onto the platform will be combed through, and if any of the content in it isn't acceptable, it will have no chance of making its way onto the platform without proper changes, a problem that the current international version of Steam does not have. This is going to make it very difficult for developers to push their way into the market due to how heavily the games will be looked into, and this could hurt developers in the long run. The unfortunate ramifications of this is that this could push developers to make content that fits into these regulations initially, so that they do not have to change content down the line, and this could hurt us all. It means there would never be a different version of the game that audiences without these restrictions ever saw, although we will most likely still see censorship of user-created content such as mods. With the availability of the international version of Steam in China, why would Valve want to do this? As far as we know, even with the launch of the Chinese Steam client, it will not mean the end of the international version, at least for now. In the same interview with DJ Powers, he stated that nothing will be changing about Steam Global in response to questions about the new version, but he conceded that something could happen with it down the line in China. It is my belief that Valve believes that the gray area Steam has existed in is about to come to a close. It is safe to assume that once the client launches, the version of Steam that exists now will be banned in China. Even if it does not happen right away, it is most likely an eventuality. This is an attempt by Valve to stay in the Chinese market, the only way they ultimately see it happening. I do not blame them for wanting to stay in the market and making moves they have to keep this possibility alive. There's too much to lose. Although at the same time, it means that we are bending over to oppressive Chinese regulations, which is a whole other topic. Even though I do not agree with Chinese regulations, again, I want to say that I hope this platform will be used to put these regionalized games on that do not affect the versions the rest of us are given, and not ever used for a model of what Steam could become for the entire world. I also hope that Valve will continue to use the international version in China for as long as they possibly can, so that they can provide less censored versions of these games to Chinese gamers. These changes are not good for gamers in China, and they have created a lot of anger in gamers that have been using access to the international version. This could be pushing companies towards creating content from the beginning that already conforms to these regulations, so that they do not need to spend more money regionalizing it or changing content. I do not believe this is widespread yet, but the possibility existing and becoming much larger is very real. I want to make it clear that we all need to try to stand by Chinese gamers and hope that one day they do not have to deal with these oppressive policies, and they will have the ability to access all of the games with all of the content that we do. But that is all that I wanted to discuss today. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a like, and of course if you did not, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.